Hi guys, how you doing? DJ AJ 101 here. If you can't tell from the title above me of this video, it's of course about the Apple iPad. It's my thoughts. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the Apple iPad today, and as you can see by the screenshots floating behind me. Now the Apple iPad, I think it looks great. I think it looks to be a great device. I have some notes over here off to the side which I'm going to be reading off, just kind of what the specs are of it, and I'll just kind of take you through it. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, we already have 1.5 million people that gave their thoughts and blah 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 whatever, and you know, why does yours matter? And you know, I totally understand that. You don't have to watch this video if you don't have to. Free country, and you know, stop at the play button, you know, leave if you want to. So you don't have to watch it. I just want to give you my thoughts, my opinions. Maybe some people will be interested in this, and I know a lot of other big name tech reviewers on YouTube, at least I would consider big names, you know, Adrian, DRBUK, Mr. Bit10, David, the creative one, a great tech reviewer. I know I've learned quite a bit from him over the past years about Macs and whatnot. Kind of got me into it myself. So a lot of the big name guys are out there, you know, have already given their thoughts on the Apple iPad, so I figured, well, why not me? And maybe you guys will find this interesting, maybe you won't, but anyways, let's get to it. Boy, and you know, the first thing to start off with, this thing's a 1/2 inch thin. Now, I took my tape measure before and just kind of measured a 1/2 inch. I said, it's that thin. I said, that's amazing for a device that's 9.7 inches. I mean, you got to think about a 9.7 inch screen and the glass that actually has to be tempered so that, you know, the back of the aluminum keeps it sturdy enough so that it won't break or crack. That, you know, this is something you probably obviously don't want to drop. You obviously don't want to, you know, try and break it or try and bend it as hard as you can. You know, obviously Apple's put a lot of thought into this, and they've definitely made it a sturdy piece of equipment. But I guess this is something you definitely don't want to break, especially at the price point, you know, that it's at, which is a good price point, I might add. $500 for the starting model, $499 if you want to be specific. I think that's a great starting entry price. I know a lot of people and myself agree that that's way below the expectation of a, you know, just under $1,000 starting price model. So I think it's great to have a starting out model, and I believe it's 16 gigabyte that you can start out at, that $499 price point model. It's a great price. I think it's going to get a lot of people in the door, and you know, a lot of people that definitely, you know, thought maybe not, actually want to maybe try this new iPad. It's made me want to try it, and I'll see if I get one. Right now I'm kind of on the fringes about it, but we'll see. You know, I do agree with a lot of people that this is probably a device that a lot of iPod and iPhone owners, iPod Touch and iPhone owners, might want to look into, because I know I've done a lot of stuff on the iPod Touch, and my biggest thing, especially when browsing the internet, it's a great internet browser, but the screen is a little small. I mean, 3.5 inches I just don't think is big enough, especially when you have to scroll around and you're really trying to look at a web page. I think that this is going to be a much more uniform browsing experience, kind of like Steve Jobs said in his keynote, and I do think it's going to give you a better on full web experience in a ultra portable device rather than on your iPhone or iPod Touch. What else we got here? Oh, it's going to come, like I said before, 16 gigabyte starting entry price or entry model as far as storage, 32 gigabyte and 64 gigabyte flash memory as well. I think that's great. I think that the people that want to up the storage, I know I got an 8 gigabyte first gen iPod Touch. It's been more than enough for me for the few games and music that I have on there. I usually use it just for a music listening iPod, much like I'm sure a lot of other people do, but I think it's becoming more and more of a portable gaming and application platform, which I think this is going to benefit the iPad greatly. And a lot of people have mentioned it. You really got to realize this is a first-gen device. You know, obviously it's going to get better. The first, you know, iPhone didn't support this and that and this, and now look at where it is now. And you know, that leads me into a thing, I guess, where you kind of got to look at Flash. You know, a lot of people have complained, Flash is this, and really when I look at it, especially with my own computing experiences, you know, if I play just one game on Facebook, I know I'm a big fan of Facebook bowling, and I have my MacBook Pro. You guys can check out that review if you want. It's a 2.5 gigahertz Core 2 Duo with 4 gigs of RAM. It maxes that out almost, just playing a simple Facebook game, and that's using Adobe Flash. So I can see why they didn't put it in, and I did try HTML5 with a couple of Ustream video feeds that I was watching, and it definitely shrinks down that processor. It's a lot more efficient on my system. I think HTML5 is going to be the way to go if Apple does decide, once HTML5 is official and it's out of beta, and Adobe doesn't try anything to sabotage HTML5, which I kind of heard there's been some stuff going back and around. You know, I kind of, yeah, don't pay attention to it because I guess it won't be official until HTML5 is out of beta, but I really hope it does become mainstream, because I do think it's much more efficient on the system, and I think Adobe really should step it up as far as making Flash more efficient through the browser. Like I said, other than that, really, the Apple iPad, you guys can check it out for yourself. It's on Apple.com's website. You know, it's the first thing when you pop up the Apple.com. You click on it, you can get all the specs. You know, built-in microphone. You can also get 3G, I think, which is a great idea. You know, it's definitely going to compete on the realms of the Kindle, so you can get your, you know, ebooks, so you can download that anywhere you want. I think ebooks are a fantastic idea for this device. I think that's what Apple's definitely targeting the market at. You know, they're looking for, you know, a device that can compete with the Kindle, and a full backlit display, you know, with color. I think that will be a fantastic option for, you know, ebook readers. I would definitely even like to get this thing for ebook reading, you know, and then a 720p screen for watching your video and playing your games. And once developers can get stuff, you know, get games developed for this and applications, I think it's going to take much better advantage of that screen real estate than just, you know, making your existing iPhone applications bigger. Now, I know there was one thing I wanted to touch on. You can go back and, you know, watch everybody else's video. I think they cover it more in depth. I just want to kind of ramble on and give you kind of some of my thoughts on it. I think it's going to be a fantastic device, but I did want to talk about one thing that I know I don't think anyone else really mentioned, and it was kind of an issue, and I don't think anyone else really kind of explained it to the degree that I think I can. And it was the fact that the iPad has a 4:3 screen instead of 16:9. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I'm looking at my netbook here. It's got a 10.1 inch 16:9 display, widescreen display, and I'm just gonna bring this over here for you guys to kind of see. And this, you know, it's got a 16:9 display. It's really nice. I like this as an ultra portable. It's a nice Windows machine. It does what I need it to do. But I know a lot of people were complaining that, oh, why isn't it 16:9, and you know, why would you make it 4:3? And you know, I was kind of thinking about this until I think I was watching Mac Break Weekly with Leo Laporte. Great show if you guys want to check that out. And Andy Anatko had one of these netbooks himself, and he was kind of making mention that, you know, about it, that an iPad, you know, would kind of be like this on the side. Now, when I looked at this, I said, you know, this really kind of makes sense on why Apple decided to make it 4:3, because when you look at this screen, this is very, 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 very slim. This is not a nice 4:3 nice panel like you would have, like the iPad has here. You can even tell from the pictures. I said there is a lot more screen real estate on there than it is on here. Just from looking at it, I think that's why they went 4:3 and had a nice thick bezel, because if I just put my fingers right here on this bezel, which is about, I think, just over an inch thick, your palm does and your finger does take up a lot of space on the side. So having that thick bezel and having a 4:3 instead of 16:9 is going to give you much more screen real estate, and it's not going to look so slim down here that, you know, when you're trying to do something and it's just, you know, a pain in the rear end to try and, you know, view anything where you want to get it nice. The only thing where I can really see 16:9 coming in wonderfully is in movies. But of course, you know, that's one out of so many other applications that you can use in this horizontal format. So I think having more screen real estate on the right and left, rather than a 16:9 screen where it's really slimmed down and it's really compact in here, because you're not always going to be using it like this. You're probably going to be using it quite a bit more like this. I'd say between a 50-50 this and this, you know, landscape and portrait. You know, that, you know, it's a great idea that they did that. I wish I could explain it a little bit better. I know I've kind of rambled on about it, and my time's almost up, so, you know, those are my thoughts. I hope you found it useful. Kind of, hopefully I explained it the way I wanted to about the screen deal. But anyways, guys, those have been my thoughts on the Apple iPad. Anyway, guys, this has been DJ AJ, and you guys have a good one.